In today's lesson, we're going to be able to graph linear inequalities. So the first question we should probably ask is, what is an inequality? Which really comes back to what is inequality? And this topic, I think, was first introduced in grade 9 about equalities and inequalities. Um, but we would have. Let's just do a quick review. Um, we've gone through math and we've learned things like 3 plus 2 equals 5. That is an equality. Okay, because what we have is we have this equal sign here. We have that equal to sign. So that's equality. We have also probably learned that 3 plus 2 is not equal to 6. And that would be the inequality. Inequality. So they're basically opposites. And the equality is saying that something is equal to it, and the inequality is saying that it's not equal to it. But what we need to do a step further with today's lesson is how do we graph these things in terms of linear functions, the slope-intercept form? So looking at the equality, what we've done previously is we start with our y-intercept of -5, and then we had a rise of 3 and a run of 2. Sorry, 1, 2, 3 over 2, 1, 2, 3 over 2, 1, 2, 3 over 2. I could do this all day, nice and easy. Look at that, I got a nice straight line. Let's draw my line. Ooh, I'm going to change that in a second here. Just make it green so it's consistent with my writing. And let's make arrows and a little bit smaller of a line. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what we have learned previously is that when we have an equality, what we do is we draw this line. And what it tells us is that every point along that line, every single point on that line, this is true. Okay? Everywhere along that line, this is a true statement. But what happens when we have I'll just do another graph here. That's okay. I'll just do this in purple. When we have the inequality, what we do, I'm going to erase this. When we have the inequality, what happens is that everything that's not on the line is true. So what we have is we have everything over here is true, and up here, just everywhere on this graph is not equal to that. Everywhere except for the line. So what we would actually do is we would make a little dashed line. Once again, we would use our ruler. So I'll draw that with my ruler here. Just 1 second. Let's take a look. I think I can do this. I'm going to draw a dashed line, and I'm going to make it purple. There we go. Okay. So a dashed line is telling me that the line itself is not equal to, but everywhere else. And if you have a highlighter marker, it's really nice. You can shade all this in with some kind of marker over here, right? You can use a highlighter. Don't destroy it on tests. It's not much fun to look at. Okay, so everything is not equal to except for the line. The line is the equal to part. Okay, so that's how we do this. So we have to get used to graphing these. So there's a couple different symbols we're going to have. So we have the equal to symbol. Let me draw the not equal to. The software, I can't really put the symbols in here very easily. So the symbols, I have equal, not equal. But we can also have a less than, a greater than. a less than or equal to, which the computer types it this way. When it's written, we usually write it this way, which combines the two. And then this is the greater than equal to symbol. So these are the proper symbols here. Sometimes when I type it, you'll see it this way, depending upon the symbol. Okay. Anytime that it's equal to, I'm just going to circle these three, you use a solid line. And when it's not equal to, you do a dashed line. Okay? So that's the first thing, is the line, solid or dashed. And then we have to look at what I call the shading. Okay? If it's a solid line with the equal to, there is no shading. Okay? It's just the line. If it's not equal to, once again, we've got that dashed line, but we shade everywhere else. If it's a less than, we would put the dashed line, shade under. If it's a greater than, it's a dashed line, shade over. And then if it's less than or equal to, so if it's less than or equal to, it's a solid line, shade under because it's less. And if it's greater than or equal to, solid line, and we shade above it. Okay, so we're going to get some shading and some solid and dashed lines. And we're going to take a look at that here now. And that would be a good chart for you to make sure you got that in your notes and you know all these things. Okay, so here's one for us. Y is less than or equal to 1/5 x, take away 3. So we know that before. We go to the y-intercept of 3, go up 1 over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up 1 over 5. There we go. And now I'm going to draw my line. And I notice right away that that is a less than. It's a dashed line, so I'll use my dashed line. It's going to look like this. And then the last piece of this is, I'm going to look and okay, it's less than. So my shaded area is everywhere down here. Okay, less than is under. And it's a dashed line. Let's look at another one. Here I have y is greater than. Once again, it's going to be a dashed line. So I'm going to first just graph the function. I'm going to go, okay, so where is y equals negative 3/4 x plus 1? And I'm going to go, okay, so plus 1 is here. Negative 3 over 4. Negative 3 over 4. I think it's right there. I'm going to draw my line. So once again, it's a dash or a dotted line, if you want to call it that. A dash, I think, is the more correct term. So there we go. And now, so that line there represents negative 3/4 x plus 1. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some shading. And I'm looking and I see this is greater than. So it's everything up above the line. Everything up above the line is the area where the answer is. Okay, this time I'm seeing this, oh, look at that symbol. Really what I'm looking at is this. So you might see this if I type it up in Word or some kind of word processor with this software. I got that. Okay, so negative 7. Oh, what's my slope? Up 5 over 1. So up 5 over 1. Up 5 over 1. Hopefully that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And up 5 over 1. There we go. So once again, draw my line. Oh, but hang on a second. This has an equal to sign in it. So that's the wrong line. I need a solid line. Let's go with that one. So this time I want a solid line because there's the equal to is part of my symbol. Okay, and it's a greater than symbol, so that's above the line. So where's above? This side is above. Okay, here's another one. I see the equal to sign again. So, oh, this is another tricky one here. This is plus 0. Oh, okay, so there's a dotted 0 down to over 7. There we go. And I'm going to draw my line. Once again, I see that there's an equal sign in there, so I'm going to draw my solid line. Oops, I'm going to edit that. I don't like that because it should have arrows on it. So it should have arrows, make a little skinnier line. There we go. So there's my line. Once again, it is a solid line because of that. And remember, the symbol you might see on a worksheet looks like that. I put the two symbols together, okay? But now it's a less than, so the less than is underneath, which is this area down here. Okay. We might also see this y less than 4. Okay, y less than 4. I can just draw that one. It's a dotted line. There's my 4. There's y is 4 right there. Okay, that's y equals 4. And I want less than that. So really what I want is I want everything down here. Okay, but this is now a system of equations. So I've got another line here, y greater than 2. So let's draw another one here. And I'm going to go, here we are. But I'm going to draw this one a different color so we can see it. Let's go with the purple. So y greater than 2. So here's my 2. Okay. And this one says everything above that line. Okay. That's kind of messy. And when you have a system, you look for the ones that meet both of them. So it has to be less than 4, bigger than 2. So I'm just going to clean this up a little bit here. I'm going to clean this up a little bit. It's not that much fun. Probably more fun than it is if you had a real eraser, but okay. So what area, and I sometimes will do this. I'll say it's greater than 2, so it's up here. I'll do little arrows to help myself. But it's down here. Oh, okay. Above there and below there, the area I'm looking at is in here. So there's the answer to a system of inequalities. It's between those two lines. Let's do a couple more. Here I have x is less than or equal to 8. Just double checking here. Yeah, I did dotted lines. Good. X, 8. Okay, so I'm going to take a line here, but I know it's a solid line. And let's get a nice one here. Okay, so x equal to 8 is right. Oh, it won't go totally straight up and down. Sorry about that. Okay, so here x equals 8, and it should be less than or equal to. So this is going to give me the solid line, and this is going to give me the less than right here. So I want everything that's over that way. Okay, now when I look at this one, once again, I see a solid line, but this is going to be greater than. Okay, and the number is 2. So let's graph this green line with arrows and x2. Okay, so what I want this time is I want everything that's on this side. So the final answer for this one is everything in the middle. So the lines are good and in the middle is good. So solid lines and everything in between them. Well, here's one that is 2x plus 3y. So here we are back to standard form. So let's just do that real quick. So I'm going to go 2x is 12. And I'm going to go 3y is 12. So I know that x is 6, y is 4. So x is 6, y is 4. Let's draw my line. Oops. Draw my line. I had a look. Equal to, so that's a solid line. I wish it would save this for me each time. There's probably a way. Okay, so there's my line. It's solid. I'm going to just change the color here. Get the, that looks good. And purple. There we go. Okay. And once again, I see this less than. I see this less than right here. So it's down here. Okay. Now, there's a couple little tricks when this isn't given to you in proper slope-intercept method. And I'm going to jump over into Desmos for a moment. Hopefully you've seen Desmos before. If not, it's a nice little practice tool. It's a free app. You can go to the Desmos.com website on your phone, on your tablet, on your Chromebook, whatever it is you use. And you can check out Desmos. Let's just jump over there for a second. Function 2x plus 3y less than 12. And I've jumped into Desmos.com. Once again, it's a free app, free download. It's a wonderful tool that you should, and I encourage you to use. Let me put that way. I encourage you to use it. However, you cannot use it on tests or exams. So you can see that with the less than, with the less than symbol, you see a dashed line. I've put in the x-intercept, the y-intercept and the x-intercept at 0, 4, and 6, 0. And then it's shaded underneath here for us. We can see that. If I was to change that symbol and where's my backspace, and make it equal to, you can see now it has a solid line. Okay, so less than equal to. If I change that once again to a greater than equal, oops, it didn't delete the bash. There we go. So we're above the line. Okay, so it's a nice little free graphing software. Okay, back to the original one. There we go. What I want you to notice with this is what happens to the graph when the y value becomes when the variable attached to the y, so the 3, what happens when that becomes a negative? Okay, here I'll make this a plus a negative 3y. So when we've got a negative there, it's shading above. And when it's a positive, it's below. So once again, this area here is shaded when it's a positive 3, and the area over it when it's a negative 3. So if you change the value of the y, that the variable here, or I guess it's a constant, that value, the b value in this, when you change that to a negative, it does the opposite of what that inequality says. The other thing to think about is if this is written backwards and the y value is on the right-hand side of the equal sign, okay, or the right-hand side of the inequality or the equality, it also can cause an inflection. So let's just talk about that. Let's just see what I'm talking about. So if let's say I had 2x 12 is less than 3y. So we would think less than, it would be under. get rid of that first one. Okay. I have a less than, so I would think with less than, it would be underneath. But once again, when the y is on the right-hand side of the sign, it does the opposite. And if you guess what happens with a negative there, you are correct. Now, we shouldn't write our equations in these formats, but I just want you to keep that in mind as we go through these, that when we have the y on the wrong side, it changes it, and we have a negative y, it changes it. I'm going to finalize or wrap up this lesson by graphing a system of inequalities. I've got a couple different things going on here. So let's just graph a system of inequalities. So the first one I'm seeing, I think we just did this one. So let's see, I'm going to go 2x is 12, negative 3y is 12. So I'm going to see that x is 6. So I'm going to have a dot. Oops, that's y. X is 6. And y is negative 4. Okay, so y negative 4. There we go. I'm going to draw myself a line. Now I see the equal to, so it's going to be a solid line. And let's use that one. Once again, I'll set this up first. So let's see if it works. Okay. So, oh, there we go. We got that. And once again, what I'm going to do is I see that it's less than, oh, but there's a negative sign. So I'm seeing the less than symbol, but I'm also seeing that negative sign. So less than I should go under, but the negative sign, I think it's going to be over. It's going to be up top. In our next lesson, we're going to talk about test points and making sure things work. So I think it's going to be above that one. Okay, let's take a look here. Oh, this one's in slope-intercept form. So I have a negative 6, and it's a slope of 3 over 7. Up 3 over 7 would be right there. Oh my goodness, it's a very similar slope as the previous one. Okay. Because of the less than symbol, it's a dashed line. So let's see if I can get a dashed green line. Look, there's one. And let's extend that a little bit. Okay. Oh, and the two lines intersect down here. This is good. This is really good. Let's just extend that blue line a little longer. So you can see that they cross right in there somewhere. Okay. And then where do I want to shade that green? Let's see. The y is on the left and it's a positive y, so that's okay. So this is a less than. So I want it to be under that line. Oh, crap. Okay, it's down here somewhere. It's under the green line, but it has to be above the blue. Darn. So far, the area I have is down here. I didn't practice this question. Okay. And thirdly, I've got this one. So let's see. 4x is 20. 5y is 20. X is 5. Y is 4. X is 5. Y is 4. And it's going to be a dashed purple line. So is that purple or is that pink? Well, probably close enough. That's pretty good. Oops. So we want to go up that way. Okay. And in relation to that line, we want it to be, oh, it must be above that. It needs to be above that line, okay, because it's greater than. So we need it to be up here, but yet it needs to be down here. And so guess what? This function has no values that are going to solve this question for us. Okay, because it has to be on this side of the purpley pink line, but it has to be above the blue. So above the blue is up here. This is above the blue. But to be under the green, it would have to be down there. So there are no values that work for this system of inequalities. Thanks for listening.